Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Behind the Visual, where I interview all those people responsible for making all those images and videos you see out in your world every single day. I am your host, advertising and lifestyle photographer, Mark Hansen. And today, my guest is Brooke Hall. Brooke is a model who's been in this industry for quite a while. She started modeling when she was 14, 15 years old and is still doing it now at the age of 40 and doing a great job. She's going to talk to us a little bit about how she got started with this whole thing, talk to us a little bit about the trips she had when she was modeling over in Japan, when she modeled in Greece, the years she spent in New York modeling, then what brought her back down south, the advice she has for newer models and what they need to know to hopefully have the longevity that she has had in this business. And also a little bit about the time she saw her picture on the side of a van for a dry cleaners and she had not given them permission. So what she did to take care of that, and also working with Betsy Johnson. So stay tuned. Great interview. I think you guys are going to love this one. All right, let's do it. Okay, so I want to know how you became a model. What made you want to be a model? How did you make it actually happen? All that stuff.
Okay. So around 13, 14, I probably was 5'9" when I was 12 years old. I had size 10 feet in fourth grade. I was taller than every boy, and that continued. I was awkward, I had braces I developed early. So I got braces about fourth grade. So seventh grade, I got them off. So around 14, my mom, Randy Motsinger from Carolina Talent, he had put an ad in the paper for a modeling camp. So my mom was like, well, she's not really interested in sports and everything. So she's tall and lanky. I'll just send her there. So I went to modeling camp with braces. And then he taught us how to walk. He taught us how to hold things for commercials. He taught us how to pose and stand. And then at the end of the week, either you were going to be signed or you weren't signed, and you took some pictures at the end of the week. And I got signed. I mean, I honestly don't know how. Like my picture is me with like a blossom hat, the jean hat with the flower right here, braces, and smiling like this. And Randy took a chance on me, and that's where it all started. I got my braces off and had my first photo shoot, and the makeup artist, right before the photo shoot, decided to pluck my eyebrows, and I had nice eyebrows, and now they are very thin because of her when I was 14. So my first photo shoot I cannot see out of my eyes. They're so puffy because she has gone to town on my eyebrows. And I legit have no idea. I've got my braces off and I have no eyebrows and my eyes are like this. And so my first photo shoot was a disaster.
Looks like it was amazing. Yeah.
It was terrible. But from there, Randy had his girls, like I became his girl for a while. And he sent me to New York. I went to the conventions, gosh, what were they called?
Yeah, IMTA convention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Down in Florida. And that's
that was AMTC.
AMTC.
Yeah, there's IMTA. I went to that in New York. It was like a porn fest for teenagers.
Okay, no, that was not me. Yeah. This was a lady's name.
Oh, it was Millie Lewis or no.
Millie Lewis camp. Millie Lewis competition. And so, when I started doing that, my mom would take me down there in Orlando and probably Atlanta, I think. And agents, it was legit. Agents from all over. I got signed with Atlanta with Legence. I got signed with Next in Miami. I won the runway. I won the makeup, putting on your own makeup. I didn't win the top model, but I won a lot of little teeny awards. I don't know. It sounds like such a pageant thing, but back then it wasn't. It was the way you got to see and meet all the agents, the top agents. And at 14, the Japanese were interested and wanted me to go to Japan when I was 14, and they told me to get rid of my mole and I needed a nose job and you name it, I heard it.
God.
So that's how I got started. And that's how I got to go all around the world from Randy, meeting all
Japan?
these agents at Millie Lewis.
Did you go to Japan?
I did,
Oh,
17.
17. By
Yeah,
yourself or did your mom go with you?
by myself. So when I was 15, my mom took me to New York. I was with Elite in New York, and she stayed a week, and then I stayed in a model's apartment for a week, which was supposed to be chaperoned. My booker was the chaperone. She put makeup on me one night, sent me and this girl Megan out to a club that had a runway show at 2 a.m. I like look back at my life and I'm like, I was in so many situations that could have been so bad, and I was so lucky. I was so
Yeah.
naive. I was so lucky. Like, I remember the guy in New York, we were at a table and he was like, what would you like to drink? And I was like, I am 15. Like, no, but thank God. Who knows
Did you
what's going to
did you
happen?
tell him you were 15 or did you just go,
I
no?
did.
Did
I
you?
did. Yes. I was like, we're here for, I was like in a Bebe. You remember Bebe or BB or whatever?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was dressed, she dressed me up and sent me out. It was a little crazy. So 15, I did that in the summer. 16, I lived in Chicago. And then my mom went up there for a little bit, and then I lived in a mom's apartment for the rest of the summer. And then by 17, she was like, Japan's supposed to be very clean and the agents take you around everywhere. Supposedly, when you leave your wallet on the outside bench, it'll be there the next morning. So they said it was really safe, and I was with Elite. And my dad says it's the biggest regret he has in his life was sending me over there. So I was there when I was 17, right before my senior year.
Yeah.
Came back 96 pounds. Did you not know this?
No, I knew you went to Japan, but I didn't know you came back like that.
Came
What
back
the hell happened to? Because I
9
know a girl who went over there at 15 by herself. She ended up hooking up with some dude from an American, like Vince Neil from Motley Crue had a band. She hooked
really
up with a guitar player there,
15.
and then he came over here, and she went to go see him. He was like, "I don't know who the hell you are. I've never met you in my
No.
life." Yeah,
Well, I lived with a 15-year-old. So I'm 17, she's 15. And she was bringing home boy after boy after boy. And like, I was there. I was working 6 days a week. The only day I wasn't working was Sundays. I would get up at 4 a.m, catch the train by myself. Men were coming out of bars in Azerbaijan, throwing up everywhere. The Japanese drink a lot. I mean, this is 1997,
yeah.
And I worked and worked and worked, and I got a parasite the first or second week that I was there, and that's what caused me to go to 96 pounds. But I was working constantly, so they didn't care that I was just
Right.
so thin. But when I got off the plane, my mom fell to the ground. And it took me a year, my whole senior year in high school, I was basically in and out of school and had my work faxed to me because we didn't know what I had. I had done, get this, so Craig Honeycutt and I had done a photo shoot in February before I left
Yeah.
in Florida with baby lions and baby tigers on a reservation. Carol Baskin's reservation. Yes. So I look back at my pictures. Craig was like over COVID. He's like, Brooke, look at your pictures because I kept everything, like dated everything. We were at Carol Baskin's whatever sanctuary, tiger sanctuary,
Yeah.
and I did a photo shoot. So I got tested for cat scratch fever, AIDS, I mean, all kinds of things. And finally, we went to a chronic fatigue specialist because I was so tired and thin. And they found it. They found it through some kind of test. I won't tell you what kind
Yeah.
of test.
Thank you.
They found it. Yeah. What did you say?
So thank you.
They figured it out. So, and that's when the directions was like, hey, Brooke, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to college or do you want to model full time? And they were like, we can't work you at 96 pounds, And
Yeah.
I said, screw it. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done. And so I went to NC State for 4 years and didn't model at all and just had a great time. So, and gained like 50 pounds freshman year. It was a lot. Lots of beer and pizza that I'd never had before. I started working at 14. I was supposed to follow a diet, and I just never gave myself permission to have that kind of food. So I had a little fun freshman year. So
I bet you did.
yeah.
No, I remember there was a girl that I met my freshman year, and we had her over to our dorm room, and we ordered pizza. And this chick, she's about your size.
Yeah.
She ate an entire pizza by herself, like a medium pizza. She
Oh
just
my God.
stuck the whole thing down. I was impressed. I was
I
like,
probably
yeah,
with like 14 beers after.
yes. Yeah. I was like, all right.
And now I can't do it again. You know, I can't do it anymore because I saw what that did to me. Like I have to work out, you know, and I was
Yeah.
so sick at the time. I was just not taking care of myself. So
You know
it
what?
was a good 4 years.
Yeah, it's 4 years. You need
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And so
Blow it
that,
out.
so I look at these girls and I don't know how they now can model while being in college. I just didn't want any pressure on myself and just wanted to be a kid for once, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. There are a couple I've shot. And I know the girl's like her freshman year in college, and I saw her, she was booked on like a 3-day shoot. I was like, aren't you supposed to be in class?
No, I don't get it.
Yeah. She's like,
But I
it'll be
guess with
okay.
online, you know, back in the old days, I hardly had a computer, you know, so I
Yeah.
had to be in class. So there was no
I
online.
didn't have a computer at all.
Yeah, you definitely didn't. I had like the IBM, like we're getting there.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I had a computer, but I didn't use it very much. So nowadays I feel bad for them. Like I feel bad that there is this that they can be reached so quickly. I wish, you know, so easily. I mean, I wish
Yeah.
that it wasn't like that. So they would be all in school right now, you know.
That's what I told Ashley when this whole COVID thing hit and they
Yeah.
sent her home for 2 weeks.
What would you do?
If this had been when I was in school, you just
Yeah.
be like, hell yeah, I'm out of school for the next
I
2
know,
years.
I know.
Month
Or
or
next
whatever.
year,
Yeah.
you're done. Like, what would it be like? That's wild.
But then you'd be coming up, probably what they would do is they just force you to go back to school.
But to be honest, we wouldn't have the news. We wouldn't know about it really.
Yeah, you
know
wouldn't
what I
know as
mean?
bad as it is.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I think it's kind of much better.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I'm so glad that all this social media was not around when I was a teenager.
Me too. People be bringing back my fat pics. Oh yeah, Brooke, you're a model. Well, let's see you freshman year.
Yeah.
The thing is I'm the one that took all the pictures, so I've got all the pictures printed out in my attic. No one else really has a lot of pictures of me, but I've got pictures of everybody else to blackmail myself, you know.
That's
But
smart.
I was the you know, photographer back in
Wow.
college. But yeah, chopped my hair off. I was done being, you know, what everybody else wanted me to be.
Right.
You know, so I spent a lot of time doing that.
What'd you major in?
Mass communications.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't remember anything. You know, I don't remember anything from school. I have to be honest.
I think mass communications was the equivalent of like basket weaving, you know?
What? No, I had to do like videos and do papers on. I remember doing a paper on a Versace ad and reading into like what it was saying to the society, and I liked it. But like, what am I gonna do with that? Nothing. For me, nothing. You know.
No, I'm with you. My degree is communications with us. I guess I focused on advertising, media advertising.
Okay.
And then possibly another 2 classes I could have had. I could have added to that and had a double major in media advertising and broadcast communications. But I was like, I'm out.
Broadcast communications is what I was doing.
Yeah.
Which was very hard back in the day. I mean, it took you, you know, 15 days to make a 2-minute video.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, with that old equipment. So
Like you had to sit there and like, did you have the VHS tapes?
Yes,
on that?
yes. And I hated it. I was like, I'm not doing this.
See, I liked it. I liked it to the point where I had a partner and I sent him away.
You're a nerd. I'm not a nerd. There's a difference here, Mark, okay?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
What'd you do after school?
So that was a big question, was like my senior year, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So I had lost the weight as of sophomore year and just went back to my normal body size. And so I left and talked to directions and went to Greece that summer and then moved to New York when I got
How was
back.
Greece?
I hated it.
Did you? Because I was going to go there for about 3 or 4 months and just shoot because I heard they had so many magazines, but then I got engaged and decided probably not the best time to go to Greece.
So directions sent me in June and July, which was the dumbest time to go. no offense to them, I thought they would know that everybody leaves for vacation in August. So I,
Right. Yeah.
I didn't work. I didn't work. I
Oh,
mean, I maybe worked a couple times, but like not enough to pay back. Cause so they provide you, they get the airline, they provide you with the models apartment. So when I walked into my models apartment, now granted, I had been in Chicago and New York where I'd been in bunk beds. So I walked into my model's apartment. It's an old hotel, and the only way that they can get in touch with you about your castings is a fax downstairs.
oh,
No one's downstairs, okay? At the desk. My mom had to send me granola and stuff that I could use hot water to have breakfast. So I go in my room, and the beds, I'm not lying. The beds are this far off the floor and they are this close together. And I'm rooming with a girl from Finland who doesn't talk much English. And I'm miserable from right the get-go. And you sit there and you wait for them to fax you and tell you where you're supposed to go that day. And then a driver picks you up. It's hot as hell. And you go to castings all day and you're with a bunch of girls. And I did go to an island, Agina, and that was nice. And again, situation where I'm like, I could have been taken. I don't know I can't tell you whose house I stayed at, who
oh
I
my
went with.
God.
I have no idea. I just know that I was woken up to like Alibaba. I don't know, not Alibaba, but like somebody going, hey, la, 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 hey, in the morning. I look back, I'm like, what was I doing? What was I doing? And then a promoter would take us out when we were back in Greece and take us to, big clubs and everything. And that just wasn't me.
Yeah.
And so you weren't allowed to leave. The agency didn't want you to leave. I was with Elite. And so I called my mom. It was a torrential downpour. I called her from a payphone and I said, get me the hell home. And she bought me a flight home and I left. I didn't even tell the agency.
Wow.
And I left after 2 months because I hated it. I wasn't working. I think I got a couple, shoots in, but that
Yeah.
was it. It was pretty miserable because there weren't a lot of clients around.
I haven't heard a lot of good things about Greece for models. There was a male model that I heard was over there. This was years and years and years ago, but he was having to do things he did not want to do to get jobs.
Ooh,
And he was not getting paid like he was supposed to. So one day, evidently, he just snapped, put
yeah.
on like camo head to toe, got a machete, walked into the agency in Greece, and was just like, "I want my money, or I'm going to start breaking shit."
Well, that's a
And I
sniper.
think they paid him, and then he just like took off and went home. But evidently, it was so bad for him there that he was just like, "I'm not doing these things anymore." Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just not worth it. They're not going to give you the money. They're speaking, they don't care.
yeah,
And I didn't have any loss, which was good. And they never made me pay back my
that's
airfare
good.
and my modeling, my model department over there. So I don't think, I mean, I don't remember paying them for me going over there and not working.
Yeah,
And that was, back in the day when they would do that. They'd front you this money and you make it back and pay them. And in Japan, I had a contract. So I was guaranteed, I think I was guaranteed like 12 and made 24 in 2 months,
well, that's good.
And
Hell
back
yeah,
in 1997, that's a lot of money.
yeah.
And that was so that money was set aside. And then I moved to New York. I subletted an apartment that was already furnished with a friend of mine from high school, guy. And that's how I was able to survive in New York for the first 6 months of not really working and getting to know clients and making
Right.
my book. Um, and that's how I got started in New York. Because otherwise, I mean, I never asked my parents for a cent.
Where were you living in New York?
I lived on Upper East Side and never left.
Nice.
I was in that apartment for about a year and then moved to 89th and 2nd and then was there for 5 more years.
Well, damn.
So yeah, never left. It's too expensive. You have to pay first, last,
Oh
realtor
yeah.
fee. I'm like, forget it. My rent was already $1,000. I can't. And then you had to have a guarantor to
Hmm.
sign, for your lease and everything. So just stay put.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Did you know girls? Because I'd heard of girls going to New York and they would get there and they didn't realize they were having to pay for all that. So they were getting car service every place,
Right.
all this kinds of stuff that they shouldn't have done. And then they realize when they're leaving to go back home, oh, you owe the agency $2,000 or
Oh my God,
$3,000. And they're
no.
like, how's that? I made all this money. Where's my money? And they, oh, well, you had a car service nonstop. And then when we were FedExing your book, all these places and whatever else, you were ordering
Girls.
food in. Yeah.
No, no, no. Brooke was taking the subway. Listen. Listen. No, no. I don't think I've ever taken a car service in New York.
I don't
Even
know.
now.
I think maybe I did once, maybe twice.
You
Because I
know, maybe if I had a 5 a.m., like if I'm going to the airport at 5 a.m., I was
yeah.
scared to death of getting a taxi at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You know? I think that was probably the only time. But no, Mark, like my dad likes to remind me, I'm TT, trailer trash. Okay? So listen, Brooke is taking the subway. Okay, I don't live like that. I used to have my map with me everywhere I went. I had, you had to carry your book everywhere.
Yep.
And I mean, it was different times.
You show up all sweaty and nasty.
Yes. And you'd have your heels in your bag. I mean, you're schlepping that thing all over New York, go to casting. And nowadays, I guess they just take an iPad. Listen to them. You hear them? They're hitting like the air conditioning unit.
Yeah, I hear it.
It's okay. But so yeah, so I did not live posh life in New York. I lived, I made my money and I went out if I could. My dad, he even said, if you can come home for Christmas, that would be awesome. We would love it, but I paid for my flight home.
Wow.
I mean, I was on my own. Once I left college, I was on my own, never asked my parents.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I think it helps.
I think I was I feel very fortunate I was with Images in New York, which was a smaller boutique agency, not Elite or Ford. I don't think I would have made it there. There's some absolutely stunning, gorgeous girls. And I always felt like I was just kind of like the, all-American. You can relate to me in your catalog, so I was very lucky to have worked like I did from Kathy, who was the owner of Images. And I stayed with them until she just closed down like a couple months ago before COVID. Yeah. COVID. She was like my second mom. And I tell these girls now, I stopped by there all the time in between castings. I'd pack my lunch and I'd eat my lunch with her in there. And I tell these girls now, like, get in front of your agents because they, once they see you, they're like, oh, she'd be perfect for this job. Yeah. So I think that's why I worked a lot. I was always there, and I loved Kathy so much. She was my second mom in New York,
I think that's a big thing that a lot of girls probably don't understand is you need to be in front of your agent because for a minute, I ran the new faces division of some little place.
What happened? There you are. Okay.
All right.
You ran a new faces division?
At a very, very small agency.
Okay.
And just for a minute. And it was one of those things where you'd have a job pop up and you're submitting models and you submit the models that you talked to or you saw in the office.
100%.
And then you submit it and then some girl calls or some guy calls like a day or two later and he goes, damn, forgot all about you.
Yeah.
You'd have been great for that job.
I agree.
Job. Yeah.
And my husband tells me now, he's like, go to directions once a month. And, it's an hour and a half for me to get there. It's different these days with 2 kids and everything.
Oh, yeah.
When I can get up there, but I do like to go and say, hey, everybody, because otherwise they're just looking at a picture and they're like, oh, Brooke looks okay for 40, maybe we should submit her a little bit more, I don't know if they say that or not, but I believe, and that's what I tell these young girls, if they're asking me for advice, it's just to get in front of them. Yeah. Just because they're not bombarded by you, don't ask them why you didn't get a job. Just be like, hey, I'm here, I'm available, I'm ready to work. I'm happy to work. I'll be there on time. Randy taught me, he said, when I was 14, he said, if you're on time, you're 15 minutes late. And I agree with that. I'm always at Belk or whatever. I'm in the parking lot 15 minutes before. I may not walk in till 8, till my time clock, till my, clock starts, but I'm there ready. And these girls that show up late and come in with wet hair when we've been given a list to come dry and have your makeup on and they come in without makeup on, it really pisses me off, because I've gotten up at 5:30 and done what I'm supposed to do. And some people just don't care, and they'll be called back.
Well, I think there's a reason you've been doing this as long as you've been doing it and continue to work is because of that. Because a lot of girls, for me, it's personality is a big part of it. If you're late, that's the first thing I'm going to notice is, okay, this model's late.
Shouldn't care.
And unless there's a good reason for this,
Right.
probably won't use her again.
Right.
And then personality is a huge thing. And because if you sit there and because I've worked with girls before where you just get the feeling they're judging every single person there on set. They're not saying anything, but they're looking at everybody, or you try and talk to them and they go, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you just go, all right, no, I don't want to have to deal with you again.
Yeah. And I agree. I mean, the same thing with me being on set with some people. I'm like, oh my God, you know, but it is what you bring into it. I believe 100% I am hired because I want to be there. And I know that I'm not the prettiest girl on the block, and I know that, and I'm okay with that. But I know that we're gonna have a good day, you know. Like whenever I'm with you, we have so much fun. Belk is my family. I love all the people there, and I know that day is gonna be so much fun. And if I'm working with a model that I love or a photographer that I love, it's not work. It's a great, you know, the work that I do, the work is the fun part. The work that I do is the working out, the, you know, maintaining, you know, my body and what I eat for the job. And then the job is the fun part. I'm taking that from Richard Lima because he said that, and I said that is a perfect thing. You know, you're so right. You know, if you work 3 days a week, those other 4 days you're working on getting ready for work, you know?
Yeah, and Richard's
psycho
about it.
I see, but what'd you say?
He's psycho. Richard's psycho about
it. Love him, but he's a little psycho about 3:30. I'm like, but Richard, if you're not working today, why are you still getting up at 3:30?
I think he
you
just
have
loves
all
it.
day to work out. I know he does. He loves it. He loves it.
Man.
He looks great. He's almost 50 years old. I mean,
yeah,
he looks fantastic.
Yeah,
so.
I look at him and I just want to be like, yeah.
I know. And he looks good, but he's plant-based, and you wouldn't be able to drink your beer or anything like that, Mark.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
You know.
You can still drink beer if you're plant-based, can't you?
I mean, he doesn't drink though.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
it bloats you. Yeah, like beer and all that'll bloat you.
Yeah. I guess so. I always had a rule, and even in New York, like I never drink before I'm working the night before, ever. Even like if my girlfriend's turning, you know, 40 years old, I'd be like, well, shit, I have to work tomorrow. Like I cannot have a glass of wine. And all my friends know that. Like if we have a dinner the night before, Brooke's not going to drink. You know, I don't watch my food, but I definitely don't drink the night before.
Yeah, well, that's smart.
Yeah, because you never know, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want just one either. Give me a little buzz if I'm gonna drink. Yeah, I need a little buzz.
Yeah, otherwise, what's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
I agree. There's
not. We'll just drink water otherwise.
I know. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Mark, when was the first time we worked together? I can't remember.
I don't remember either. It was a long time ago, though.
I know.
But I don't remember when it was.
And it had to have been with Heather and.
Yeah, I'm sure it was with Heather.
Yeah,
doing hair and makeup.
It's been fun to come back to Belk and be with some like OGs. You know, I mean, you hate to say it like that, but we are from the old days of Belk and the Charlotte market. You know. Yeah. Not many of us left.
No, my brothers. We were filming we're doing a short film. We used my brother's house, and it was Heather was there, I was there, Michael Church was there, and my brother's like, "This is really cool to see like all three of you guys together." Yeah, you know, I was like, "Yeah, it's been a long time."
It had like Michael Church was so great. He did this fun like different backgrounds. He's such a great videographer. He was one of the OGs. Who else?
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember.
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. There's some people who have come and gone since then too.
That's true.
Why'd you move back from New York?
So I met Jack. So my husband, we will be married 13 years in October. And I guess this is like when did we get married? 2007. So 2005, 2006, I met him at a wedding in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, our best friend's wedding. And then he lived in Atlanta and I lived in New York, and we did AirTran back and forth
Oh
every
yeah.
weekend. And he'd come visit me, and then I'd go visit Atlanta, and I was done. I got married. We got engaged after 9 months, and my lease in January, and my lease was up in July, and so I stayed until July, and then I moved to Atlanta to be with him. And our wedding was in October, and then the market crashed, and
Yeah.
I was so lucky that I got out when I did and didn't have another year lease, because a lot of my friends moved out. I mean, work was slim. There was nothing. So I was in Atlanta, and I was with Elite in Atlanta, and I had a really tough year that year. My dad got cancer, and there was no work, and I was used to working 3 to 4 days a week in New York consistently. And I'm in Atlanta. I don't know Atlanta. I'm depending on my husband for friends, and when he gets home from work, and I'm just sitting there and I'm doing these little jobs here and there. And I had a tough year coming back. That was tough on our business, and it changed our business forever.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, that was a big hit. And I left at the perfect time in New York, because I don't think New York was the same ever again.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You know,
I did learn from that to not drop my prices for
to
me.
not drop them.
Well, I dropped them then. So
Yeah,
I dropped my rate for me to shoot. I
you did
dropped it, and it has taken, like, there's one client, it took
years.
until 2 years ago to get my rate back up to where
Yeah,
it was in 2008.
that's unbelievable. I don't think our prices have really gone up, Mark. I
No.
mean, it's been, I have to say, pretty shitty ever since
Yeah.
2008. And I've been saying this now, like, to my friends. They're like, are you going to work? Are you going to work after Corona? And I'm like, okay, I'm 40. Like, I know there's a great market for my age,
Yeah.
but this is going to hurt our business so badly, in my opinion. Maybe it's not. You've been working consistently over Corona. I have not. I've worked one time in 28 weeks, because now I can't take the little jobs here and there because I have my kids.
Yeah.
And are those little jobs going to want me for half?
I'm hearing that
I
from
don't.
some people I'm talking to out of New York and Philadelphia and whatever,
Yeah.
that a lot of jobs are being pushed. A lot of people are starting to see now that they can shoot, and they're
Okay.
starting to ramp up, start shooting again. And then some jobs are being pushed into the first part of next year,
Okay.
or
But
into next year. And nobody's really, they're not saying a lot about budget. Nobody's really said that they've had to cut budgets or
well,
anything
that's
like
good.
that. Yeah.
That's
So
good. It's just retail's got to get back. I mean,
retail's hurting. Yeah.
retail's
Retail's,
hurting. Like, you can't model a desk or like a couch when the person can't even get the couch for 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
that's where I'm like, what are they going to do? I haven't shot for my friend who owns Boehm in months, because she's just not getting the shipments in.
Yeah. I have a European fashion client that I'm shooting for this weekend. Actually, we got 3 days to shoot.
Oh, good.
And we didn't know if we were shooting or not, because she said it was hard for her to get the samples in, and she wasn't
Right.
sure if we were going to shoot at all.
Well, so my job for Friday has been changed 4 times because the product has not come in.
Yeah.
So, and I'm shooting masks, which is wild at this time. I mean, have my eyes, and then I got a sty a few weeks ago. I'm like, I can't even like shoot because it's all on my eyes now. And my job that I did do it's just bizarre. I was like a dental patient, which I've never been before, and they were shooting the new stuff for what these dentists are going to have to be wearing, and it's a full hazmat suit. So there was a model there, and she was in a full hazmat suit, a mask, and then the
The
shield,
shield. Yeah.
pretending to work on me, and we're having consultations and doing all this in masks. And if that's the new world, I don't know. I don't know. What is the new world? Are we going to be shooting, picnics with our family in masks? Like,
God, I hope not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So if there's a lot of questions that are unanswered right now, and with the rates, ooh, I just hope it doesn't go like, because of 2008, that ruined. I mean, as you know, we would get per diem. None of
Yeah.
that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You would be flown places.
Yeah.
Not much of that. When somebody flies you somewhere, you're like, hot damn,
Oh yeah.
this is good, you know?
Yeah. Especially now where everybody's trying to shoot local.
Right, right.
Even the big companies are shooting. Like I was talking to Greg Gorman, who's head of photography over at LL Bean, and he
Okay.
said they're doing a shoot in September,
Which is where? Where's Ella being located?
Maine. So they're
Okay.
up in
Okay.
Portland. He said they have been given, their lawyers have given them 5 states they're allowed to pull from, and
Wow.
that's it. And
Wow.
then who was it? It was Eddie Bauer. They're in Seattle.
Yeah.
They're only shooting local people.
I mean,
So
you
they have
okay.
to be local. They're not even allowed to pull from other states. They have to be somebody
Wow.
local to Seattle, to Portland, or
Well,
into
yeah, but
Seattle.
there's some
To Washington.
models out there, you know. I think there's a few
Yeah,
that
she said it's
that
like
are so
total. It's
well.
like she said talent all the way around. I think for everybody from photographers, models, hair, all that. She said
Yeah,
it's a little slim.
that
Not that they don't have it, but it's not. They don't have this big a pool to choose from.
right. I didn't think about the makeup artists, photographers,
Yeah.
because it's got to be right. That's I say this to the models that are that I talk to. There are so many components to a shoot. If you look great, the photographer's fantastic, the makeup is fantastic, but the stylist was off. It's
Oh
done.
yeah.
If everybody else looks good and then you went out the night before, it's done. It was a waste of everybody's time and your money. Like it all has to go together.
Oh
And
yeah.
and there's been very few that I can count on my hand that have worked out for me in 24 years. That the shoot has just been unbelievable and everybody was on it, styling, with makeup and hair, and everybody was like in it to get a shoot.
Yeah, I think you gotta
I,
have, especially if you're doing a shoot just for your books, you got to make sure
that's
everybody is into it.
yeah,
Everybody, because I've worked with, stylists that I heard were really good, wanted to work with them, sent them stuff like, here's the swipes, here's what I'm looking for. And
yeah,
they show up with something that's maybe a distant cousin to what I'd sent them. I'm like, and they even sent pictures, but they sent them like the day before or the
yeah. It does
afternoon,
work.
the night before. And oh, well,
It does work.
we'll see what we can get.
A good one that we did together was for that tiny little booklet, and then Erica Hanks was the
Yes.
stylist, and she was incredible.
Yeah, that was good.
That was so good. And then she got the Copeland's ad. But the makeup artist I never worked with again. She was so good, and I don't remember who it
I don't
was.
even remember who it was.
No, and it was at Van Landingham Estate, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was that was the four came together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember who that makeup artist was.
She was incredible, and I've never seen her since.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there.
And
It's
then
weird to
Erica,
me too. It's like I'll have something like that'll happen where I have somebody, a really good makeup artist or stylist or even assistant that I really like.
yeah,
And then I never hear from them again.
I know
You
that's
would
so
think
weird.
they'd at least touch base every once in a while,
Yeah,
to see if maybe something's
for
coming
work,
up.
right?
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe they're just so busy they don't need to.
Well, I know Erica Hanks got
Oh, I
bit
know she started.
she's
Yeah.
blowing up, and but I remember working with her, and I said, I mean, I don't know how many years ago this was, but I was like, you're the best stylist I have ever worked with in my entire
Erica
career.
is very, you got to find the right, like, she's not going to do,
Right.
like Home Depot stuff,
No,
because
exactly.
that's not her deal.
Fashion, full
Yeah.
fashion.
But if it's fashion, if it's, that higher end stuff like that, she's amazing at
It
that
was
kind of
amazing.
stuff.
The clothes were amazing.
Yeah. I was impressed with her for
Yeah.
sure.
And now there are a lot of people, styling right now a lot. But that's the thing. Now, at a job, I'm the stylist. I'm the stylist. I'm the model, and I'm the makeup artist. I'm surprised I'm not the photographer. You know what I mean?
Oh, I did a job. Well, it was probably the first or second, maybe the second paid job I did with Brooklyn Decker.
Uh-huh.
So she was like 16 or something,
Yeah.
and it's for some prom gown company.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So this chick at the prom company is like Brooklyn and like two or three other girls. And she calls me like 2 days before the shoot. It's like, hey, I have all these prom dresses. They need to be steamed. Can you steam them? I was like,
What?
so she asked me if I could steam the dresses. I was like, yeah, I can get somebody to steam the dresses.
Okay.
It'll probably cost whatever. And I told her a
Right.
price. And she goes, oh, she goes, you know what? We can probably do it ourselves. It'll be okay. And I was like, all right, well, that's fine. You guys do it yourselves. She shows up the next morning with all these dresses in the back of an SUV, laid out in the back of the SUV, and she goes, "Oh man, looks like a lot of these dresses got wrinkled on the way over here." I was like, "Okay, how you think I'm that stupid? I know
Right.
way better than that." So halfway through the shoot, right about lunchtime, where everybody's getting hungry, this chick hasn't ordered food. I don't even know if she's going to order food. Brooklyn comes up to me and she says, "We're steaming our dresses back there, and this woman is yelling at us to do it faster so we can get more shots done."
And that's the client?
The client, yeah, the client had the girls, and if their moms were there, the moms
The moms were
steaming dresses.
Wow.
So I had to take the client off to the side. I was like, "Listen,
Yeah.
the models aren't steaming dresses anymore. This was on you. You were supposed to do it. That's not their job, and they need to eat something. You've got to
Right.
your card, order them some food, and get something over here for them to eat." Which this chick, she had, and then the best thing was Michael Church had shot for this company the year before,
Mm-hmm.
and he had told me, he said, "Hey, when you shoot for these guys, make sure you get your money up front, and then before you give them anything, and then deposit it immediately." So when I got the check from him, he said, because they came back to me and he had shot them on gray or something that they had approved, and they're like, no, we really needed that all shot on white, and made Michael shoot it all over again.
For
So
free.
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah. So they gave me the check. They saw everything. They approved it. I got the check. I went immediately to their bank and cashed it.
Smart.
So they couldn't stop the check.
Well, at least he told you that.
Well, yeah, because we hadn't, because they came back to me a week later and said they needed to reshoot half of everything because we shot inside a house.
Uh-huh.
The window in the background, the sky was blown out and they couldn't see any of the clouds. And I said, well, first of all, there weren't any clouds because it was an overcast day. So there was no sky and clouds to see. I said, and secondly, your person approved it. Your art director on set approved every single shot as we were shooting.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you should have known better.
Oh my Lord.
And then they said something about the guy doing the scans or the printer. Their printer couldn't get proper scans or couldn't get some kind of detail or something. I said, well, give me his number. I'll talk to him. Let me talk to this guy because I think I know what the issue is. If that's really true, they wouldn't let me talk to the guy because it was all bullshit.
So what'd you do?
I told them I would reshoot it if they wanted to pay me half. I said, you pay me half of what we did last time, I'll reshoot it.
Good for you.
I don't know if they reshot it or if they just with somebody else or they just went with what they had. I never saw it, so I don't know.
That's the thing. I haven't been scammed a lot. I did recently in the past couple of years, there were 24 of us that did this 2 or 3 day job at the West End downtown. And we paid for parking, so $48 a day, right? We're paying out of pocket. And it was like a $3,000 to $4,000 job for all of us.
It's $48 a day to park there?
$40 a day at the West End downtown. So I'm paying this and I could be lying and my total was 40. And now that I think about it, maybe $20 a day. I don't know.
That sounds a little realistic.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was definitely a $3,000 to $4,000 job, and they went bankrupt. And direction was like, sorry, and we're like, what?
And they do that on purpose.
Yeah. Oh, I knew it. I knew they did. They hired makeup artists for everyone. Every girl had their own makeup artist.
Oh yeah.
And we were in a big showroom and doing it. Yeah. And they knew.
Oh yeah.
And then they weren't going to pay. I mean, that was like a lot of money.
A friend of mine from New York, as a rep in New York, was telling me about this photographer he knew, did a shoot for, I can't remember what the company was, but he did a shoot. It was his first really big shoot. And the dude like shelled 30 grand out of pocket. And then as soon as the shoot was over, because he, to pay, or he ended up owing 30,000 because he had to pay assistants and makeup artists and all that. So they had the photographer handle it all, I guess.
Yeah.
And he didn't get half up front. The company immediately went bankrupt as soon as the shoot was over. And this dude was stuck for like $30,000, $40,000.
No.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And that was his first big shoot. So it's not like I'm certain this
my God.
Like 30 grand just laying around.
That's terrible. No one has 30 grand laying around.
Yeah. So it was.
If they do, I would like to work for them. Sign me up. If you got $30,000, just okay to piss away, I mean,
there you go. Let's do it.
oh Oh Lord, I've had good experiences. I've been paid on time. I mean, I have, but those are the bad ones. But I do get a little frustrated when I have to bring my whole closet.
Yeah.
I mean, to shoots and do my own makeup, and if they don't like it, I mean, that's not my problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want someone to, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. I just need time, and I would prefer to be paid a little bit more if I'm shopping. It's just the day and age that we're in now, Mark. I mean, they're like, okay, you don't want to do it, then we'll get somebody else that's happily do it, and shop and style and do their makeup. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, I'll do what I can do
Yeah.
because I enjoy being at work,
Right.
and being with people like you, that overrides doing all that. But it is nice to have a stylist and a makeup artist, and
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
because I don't know what the client wants really, they just send you pictures and they're like, okay, we want to go on this look, and you just hope at that moment, because I find out maybe Wednesday, but usually Thursday before the Friday job, what I'm supposed to have. And if it's summer at Target and I'm supposed to have winter clothes, I'm kind of screwed if I don't have this stuff.
Well,
So
yeah.
I've got a whole closet upstairs that is in my guest room that is just modeling clothes and
Really?
modeling shoes. Yes.
Well,
It
that's
is
smart.
just like, I don't wear it, that is just dedicated to work,
Yeah.
but it's an investment. It's an investment, I'm so glad I'm not getting into it right now, starting right now.
No.
And it's funny, I've had like people ask me over Corona, they're like, hey, this girl's like thinking about getting started. I'm like, now?
Yeah, this is not the time to start
No,
being a model.
no,
Yeah.
no work right now. I mean, there's work, but not a lot,
There's not. I think now's a great time to be a photographer that shoots product,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
to be a CG,
that's
somebody who does
true.
CGI,
Yeah.
or illustration.
You think that's
Perfect.
that's true.
Yeah.
Have you been shooting product?
Nah.
No. I know. I think everything's like lay downs. Like when I was looking on Anthropology, I'm like, there are no more models. It's all lay downs, and I can't see the clothes. I hope that people realize with this going on that it's not going to work to do lay downs. People don't. I can't see that white shirt on a white background and what it looks like on the body, so I'm not buying it.
Right.
So I hope this is a little bit of a lesson that in retail that people do need a body and not just like a mannequin or white background.
Yeah, I think it will be. I mean, I hope, and I
Yeah.
think it will be. I think the only thing that scares me is that whole putting it on a mannequin
I
kind
know.
of thing and shooting
Yeah.
it kind of
And
deal.
like being one face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or there's that looklet thing where they can change the hair and they can change the face and they can change have you heard of that?
We were afraid of this happening to Belk about 4 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
One person would be picked. Oh, a couple people will be picked to be the face of that.
Yeah. And so you get paid a big chunk up front to
Yeah.
be the face or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Then you never see them again. And then they basically just have a stylist from that point forward. A stylist styles the clothes on the mannequin and then shoots it, hits the button.
And I hope, Mark, that's not.
Yeah.
But you know what? I might be 50 at that time, and it'll be all right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be 22 and trying to get in this business and needing
That's true.
work. So whatever happens, happens. I'll be doing the Depends commercials at that point. Would you like to say hello?
And they pay.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, well, don't. Okay, well, Jay's going home in 30 minutes.
Says Jack.
No, he's going home in 30 minutes too. Don't interrupt me. Jay, you're bored?
I'm really bored. We thought we couldn't come inside because
You can go inside. Go play
the
upstairs.
entrance is out down here. And you see
I'll be done in a minute, okay? And then I'll play with y'all, okay? Okay. Close the door, love.
Mom, can you please?
Yeah, in a little bit. Oh my God.
I have a big
Hey, I think we did really well for what I have 3 kids. One wants to go home because he's bored.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's he gonna do at home? He's
I mean,
not gonna
there's
be bored.
nothing to do. Go play basketball. Go do what? I don't know.
I don't know. I can't entertain you all
Now,
day
we used to
long.
disappear
I
and
know.
we would not come back home until my mother had this
A
bell.
bell.
You would ring like this
Yes.
triangle thing, and you would go, wait, what's that? And then you listen a little bit harder, and then you hear like, ah, man, I gotta go home.
Yeah, I
You
love
know?
that though. But now
Yeah.
you're afraid of like them, they're gonna get kidnapped on the side of the road, you know? I mean, but
You know
not
what though?
free.
The thing is, and Tammy and I had this conversation this week or last week, was I read something about a year or two ago that said there are less of those things happening now than there were back in the like 70s and 80s.
Oh, really?
But because of the 24-hour news cycle, social media, all that, you hear a lot more about
Oh,
it. So
agree.
when one person or two people go missing, all of a sudden you hear about it, where 70s
Never
and
heard about it.
80s, you'd have no clue that they went missing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
so
You
you
had
didn't
like
hear
one
about it.
person on the back of the milk carton and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah.
That's
It's
true.
like evidently Jeffrey Dahmer was able to go from state to state to state because they didn't have a way to put it all together that this is the same dude killing all these people.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I am a little afraid. I mean, not with 3 kids, but I mean, we live in a cul-de-sac. Go play to your heart's desire. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
nobody's coming down here unless you live down here. So
Right.
it's fine.
And we did that too. We'd go out in the cul-de-sac and just play for hours and, ride our bikes around. We didn't go in unless we had to.
They can't do that these days. They don't have the imagination because of the video games and the phones and all that. They don't have the imagination.
Yeah.
So now I got to go play.
All right. So tell me about a job you regret. There's
Over-
got to be one, if not multiples.
I don't have, oh. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I did a job in New York for Butterick Patterns. It's like a big catalog that women can learn to make clothes in.
Oh, like dresses and stuff like that.
Yes, loved them. Great client, paid well, and I started dating Jack. And so he's like an internet stalker. He can find out anything about anybody and like knows how much you paid for your house and like he stalks people just when he meets them or whatever. So
Right.
so I'm at this job and I have always said I will not do costumes. Okay, I will do anything
So
you
you're
want
not
me
going to be
to
the
do.
French maid at the Halloween costume?
Don't want to do it. But they made me be a witch. Put on a wig, a black wig, maybe a nose. I can't remember, but I was horrified.
So you
And
weren't the hot witch. You were just
was not a hot witch.
okay.
How they make the hat and whatever, and I was horrified. I mean, like curly black long wig, okay? And I was like, oh my God, where is this going to go in? I do not want to do this. So I did it because they were a great client. They waited till the end of the day.
Of course they did.
Well, Jack and I are emailing at this point, like when we don't see each other, like, good morning, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, happy Halloween. And then had a picture, he found it somehow and said, happy Halloween. I love this costume. I was like, I'm dating. I'm horrified.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
oh my God, no. So that is the job. I don't have any regrets. I've done, no one's painted my face and done the Halloween makeup and stuff like that. But I don't want to do costumes. And was one where he found me and I was so embarrassed, but otherwise I've really been lucky.
For some reason that kicked into my brain. Weren't you on the side of a truck or a van or something and you weren't supposed to be?
Mm-hmm. So my friend a couple years ago was like, oh my God, Brooke, I saw you in the dry cleaner's van. I'm like, what are you talking about? I haven't done a dry cleaning van job. Literally 1 mile from my house, there's a dry cleaner up in Cotswold, and they have me on 3 sides in a bridal dress, a job that I'd done for a client that I was with in New York for 7 years, Mon Cherie, 3 sides of the van. And I was like, oh my God. So I walked in there, I had a baby on my hip, and I was like, hey, that's me on the side of your van. And they were like, no way, that's amazing. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, where's my money?
Where's my money? So I got a New York lawyer involved. I got a Charlotte lawyer involved. It went nowhere. I was going to end up having to pay more than what to get. And so they stripped the van. One day it wasn't there after me complaining, the lawyer's calling them. And they have another girl up there that looks exactly like me right now. Like my boys still think it is me and they just changed the nose a little bit.
But I asked him, I said, where'd you get this? Because I had the pay stubs still. I keep all my pay stubs. And they said stock photo. I'm like, I've never done a stock photo job in my life. So you took it from the website, I guess, and blew it up. I don't know how they did it, but yes, that was one that I didn't get. But who knew? You know, they didn't know that girl in that picture was a mile away. You know what? I mean, it was pretty funny. But I did not like to be known as like being on the dry cleaner van. You know, like what? Again, now I have no shame, Mark. I have no shame. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I did a Novant healthcare job. Didn't ask. I don't ask. I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as the money's good, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm running. Next thing I know, months later, I get all these pictures of my friends who are like in the gynecologist's office. And there I am, Novant Health, running. And I think it's for like leakage. I didn't know that, you know, like, let me know if it's for HPV or AIDS, you know, like just
that would be nice.
Laugh about it, you know. But it's fine. If I get a $90,000 commercial and I have to say that I have HPV and AIDS or whatever, not AIDS, but HPV as an older person or I've, you know, crap my pants or whatever, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Give it to me. I'll do it. I have no shame now. I will not dress up like a witch.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no costumes.
Not in public.
No. Right.
You ever work with any freak photographers who try to get you to do, you know, hey, just unbutton one more button kind of thing?
Yes, one time in Chicago, and that's one of my biggest regrets. I was in Chicago, and a girl, Julie, and I went to this photographer's house, and the makeup artist was there, and we had a really cool shoot. And it was getting late, and the photographer was just a little weird. You know, I didn't feel comfortable, and the makeup artist wanted to leave, and it was like 9 o'clock, and we didn't know where we were. I was done. Julie was not. He had rubbed her leg, I guess, during dinner or something, and I just felt very uncomfortable. And I begged the makeup artist to take me home, and I was 16. And the makeup artist took me home, and Julie didn't get home until about 11:30 back at the apartment, and he had made some moves on her, and we called our booker that night, and they said that he was going to be out of town. They were running him out of town, and he was never supposedly seen again or worked again. But I felt terrible that I left her there in that uncomfortable situation. You know, I knew that I needed to get out, and I was 16, you know,
right,
and nothing like that had ever happened to me. And I'm thank God. I mean, I went to Miami when I was 15, and I mean, the agencies would set us up, like Next would set us up, and these 55-year-olds would come pick us up in Rolls Royces. And I told my parents this, and they're like, I mean, you know, I'm supposed to be chaperoned. Yeah. And they pick us up, and we'd go to the China Grill with them, and we'd eat dinner with them, and then I'd go back to their house. And thank God no one was interested in me. Thank God.
And money on this? What are they doing? Pimping you out? Were the agencies pimping you out or something?
It's bizarre. I was with Next. I mean, so some girls would go upstairs with these guys, and I would be sitting on the couch downstairs like, hey, what are y'all doing? You know? And she was like, I just got a massage. And I think back to now like, what the hell? Thank God no one was interested in me. Or I was just so naive and just was like, what, you know, where are we? What are we doing? You know, no man was interested in me at 15. Like,
you must put out that vibe. Leave me alone.
I never got, And I look at these girls now, and they have the short shorts, and your daughters, you know, I mean, they wear these clothes that I was not wearing back then. And and this Instagram, it's a whole, you can't put it's not their fault that this is a style, you know, but no one was ever attracted to me. Thank God. I was very lucky. But there are a few situations like that. There's a handful where I would like look back and I'm like, shit, what was I thinking? What were they thinking? You know, like,
I don't know.
Why did these men want to come pick up 15-year-olds? And why was the agency a part of that? You know?
Well, I was thinking that photographer in Chicago, he must have been a nobody photographer, because Terry Richardson in New York was doing that, and everybody knew it, but nobody cared. Nobody did a thing to stop it. And he was booking campaigns.
You're right. And honestly, they could have just lied to us and we would have believed it.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But I've been lucky.
All right. Last question. I'll let you go.
Okay.
What's the strangest thing that's happened to you or most interesting since you started modeling?
God, that's a hard one. I mean, I'd have to go with like those kind of situations.
Yeah.
I like the most fun, you know, some of the good things were like I got to work with Betsy Johnson. I did her campaign.
Oh, that's cool.
And she was in her 70s then in New York, and she was doing cartwheels, and it was just me, her, and the photographer, and the lady that does Betsy Johnson. I did her intimate climb, and she was so cool. And it's people. There's so many. There are more, you know, wonderful things that have come out of my business,
Yeah.
my career. Then I don't know strange things really. I mean,
Well, even like most interesting like that, I think falls in that category with Betsy Johnson. It's like, it's a cool gig, you know,
so
it's something that
cool.
was fun
And like
to do.
I did Oscar de la Renta. He picked me to be like, you know, back in the day at Belk at the mall, like picked me and this other girl to be his girls to come out with him for his perfume line, and like what a icon he was. And I've learned so much about bras. I did got Barely There. It's a brand in New York for showroom for 6 years with my best friends in New York. And by going around the showroom, I can tell you this and that about a bra and if it fits you. And I learned a lot.
Oh, wow.
At Neiman's at the I do a lot of their trunk shows. I could care less about fashion. I think because I'm in this business, I'm a t-shirt jeans girl. You only see me in t-shirt jeans sneakers, right? Could care less about high heels, Louboutins. Don't need it. Don't want it. Think it's overpriced. But I have listened in on those trunk shows about Etro and Mason Common and listening to the background and the traveling that goes into getting the ideas and the materials and where they come up with these ideas. It has fascinated me, and that is what I take off of learning from about fashion and stuff. And I get why some people are so into it. It is an art, and Ralph Lauren, it is an art, and people do have what's the word? Muses that they go off of, like Ralph Lauren's is his wife, and those are the kind of things I have learned and that I'll take with me. And I've learned, you know, I grew up fast. I was with adults when I was a young age. So I look at these girls who are like 15, 16, they don't travel, they don't go places. I'm like, you go learn to be independent so you can be an independent woman, you know? And this Corona thing has been hard for me because I am very independent and I want alone time and I don't want people to talk to me all the time, meaning my kids. And I want to be around adults. I miss the work environment. I miss working. I miss being independent. That was a hard thing to come to Atlanta to be with Jack. Leaving New York really sent me into a depression. So those are the great things that has come out of my career. But you know, that's like, I guess that's the interesting thing. And what a small business it is. I could work with somebody when I was 14 and be like, oh my God, at 40, be like, oh my God, we know each other, you know, and you haven't seen you in 25 years, but wow, you're still in this business. I'm still in this business. That's unbelievable, you know? It's just a small business.
And if you do something, everybody's going to know about it.
That's right.
Yeah. It doesn't take long. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I love you.
Love you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good.
Dude, let me know when it's going to be out.
I will. It'll probably be 3 weeks or so, something like that. But yeah, I'll let you know for sure.
All right, I'm going to see if they've destroyed my house upstairs.
Yeah, have fun with the vlogs.
Bye, Mark. Thank you for thinking of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye.